Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Beso Girl. My name is Tiara.
And my name is Lily.
And welcome to our podcast.
Slowly kisses passing by the river. I've been missing your strawberry cake. Make sure to give us a like and follow Beso Girl for more content.
Today's topic is going to be about Asian culture representation in the media, specifically the ones in the movies, TV shows, video games, etc. And we're also going to discuss how this affects the culture that is being represented. We're going to divide this into different segments from Asian movies and TV shows, how Asian culture is being represented in general, and how this affects that culture, and how the world perceives that culture based on what was represented.
That's right, Tiara, and we will start from Asian movies and shows. I'm sure all of you have listened or at least heard of K-drama or anime. These two are popular media representing Asian culture, with K-drama representing South Korea and anime representing Japan.
And that's not all. There's also Bollywood for Indians, Drachin or Chinese drama for the Chinese, and many more. All these contents did a great job in representing and showcasing the culture of that country into the international media, like their languages, their traditional outfit, their traditional food, and even their history.
This can be seen through the many South Korean food and snacks sold in different countries, both showcasing South Korean pop culture such K-pop.
But how does this content manage to successfully advertise and showcase their culture and country to the international world? Uh, because like not everything that went international booms the way that these do. And does this has anything to do with the Western media and the way that they portray Asian? Well, we are going to take a deep dive into the internet to see uh, the answer. Like, well, there's no definite answer, but we may see why this happened. One possible reason on why Bollywood, K-drama, anime, and Chinese drama become so popular worldwide is that they offer a variety of genres, themes, and styles that appeal to different tastes and preferences. They also showcase the diversity and richness of their respective cultures, such as history, folklore, mythology, pop culture, religion, festivals, cuisine, dance, and art. They expose their audience to different language, humor, values, and aesthetics. They also address social and cultural issues that are relevant and meaningful for their audiences. Another possible general reason is that they have high quality production values, creative and original content, and talented and charismatic performance. They invest a lot of resources and efforts into making their product appealing and entertaining for their audiences. And not to mention that these contents are widely available and easily accessible through different platforms and channels such as streaming services, social media, and fan communities. They also benefit from the collaboration and support from fans who make subtitles, translate, and promote their content.
For me, the combination of good content and easily accessible streaming service is what drawn me to listening to shows.
And from that, you get to see the cultures, history, and the issues surrounding that country, right?
Absolutely, and it really helped me becoming more cultural conscious. But how about other movies and contents? So, Indonesian movie like Pengabdi Setan managed to go international, but despite this, the Indonesian movies industry isn't as popular as the previous example. Why is that?
Again, this answer can be taken from a quick search to the web. So there are many reasons on why some movies aren't as popular as the others. So there are some reasons. One of them is resources. Making movies and dramas cost a lot of money. When even one of them is to cast the actors, cast the music, for the special effect, for the editing, lighting, etc. There's a lot of things you need to keep in mind when making a drama or a movie. Secondly, it may because of a lack of advertisement or exposure online. So if people aren't hearing about a movie coming out, uh, there is no way it's going to be popular because people don't even know about it. It can be from cultural influence, media coverage, and word of mouth. And lastly, things may stem from people's preferences. Different audiences may have different preferences for movies and dramas, depending on their taste, values, and expectations. Some countries may cater to these preferences better than others. Like maybe people are preferring romance movie lately, and so of course those that promotes love stories sells more than, let's say, horror movies.
So this means national movies aren't so well known because of lack of experts and that it is not so popular in the first place. I mean, our studios must have placed my budget into their movie.
Oh, absolutely. And I also have a feeling that this is because we have uh, inconsistent popularity. Like, just because a few of our movies went international, it doesn't mean that it gathers the global's attention to our content as a whole. And also because we lack fan base outside of our country.
Then what can be done so that our local movies can be recognized by the international media?
Well, while there are no simple or definitive answer to that question, but there are some general answer on what can be done so our movies can be more recognized in the global media. One of them is to increase the quality of the content. I'm not saying that we produce bad quality content, but if we're going to try to attract the international viewers, we may need to put a bit more work and, of course, some more original content that may make us stand out from the other contents. Like for example, key drama is mostly popular for uh, its makeup style, the the issues around the characters, and the romance story. Well, Well, Bollywood is mostly popular for its quirks and for its dances. And for Drachin or Chinese drama, it may be popular because of the martial art sequence. They also need to increase the availability of these contents in streaming services, such as through film festivals, social media, etc. They also need to build better networks that could connect these contents to the international viewers, as well as sale agents, producers, critics, and film agencies.
Alright, now that we covered about movies and shows, let's move into Asian representation and general media. Slowly kisses passing by the river. I've been missing your strawberry kiss. This topic, we will talk about the general Asian representation in media. And before you all raise your pitchfork, no, we are not gonna make some work discussion on what should have been done. We are just gonna talk about what we notice and see usually.
And now that we moved that out of the way, let us begin. For Asian representation, usually it stops at the East Asians like Chinese, Koreans, Japanese.
What about Indians?
There are Indian characters available, but I don't think they are as popular as the ones I just mentioned earlier.
Speaking of that, I noticed that when a game or maybe a show wanted to include diverse amounts of characters from different countries, the Asian characters seem to come from the countries for different games or shows. Like for example, I saw many teams online characters. This one is from the Philippines, Japan, or Korea. A lot of them, but I rarely see a game character or a story reader. But in an Asian character who came from, let's say, Singapore.
I know, right? But there are reasons to this. One of them, or should I say the most obvious one, is popularity. Some Asian countries are more popular than the others, like Korea, that is popular because K-pop and K-drama. Japan is popular because of its products, the, the Japanese shows and anime. And there is China that is popular for its games, Chinese dramas, and the kung fu dramas. And there's also the fact that some Asian countries have more uh, influence and connections that allow them to advertise their content even more.
Oh yes, about the international media, I felt like it's mostly centers around the Western and American media.
Well, possibly. The Western media is indeed strong, including the American media, because it could shape the way that Asians are represented in the media. Like, there are different ways how they are being represented. One of them is according to, like we said before, according to which Asian countries are more popular, and they are also selected according to diversity, visibility, and marketing.
I find it kind of funny when you mention marketability.
Really don't. And to add to that, there are also a way that the Western and the American media portray and represent Asians is through stereotypes. The media may uh, simplify and stereotype the Asian countries and group based on historical, political, and cultural relations. Like, for example, some Asian countries may be perceived and portrayed as the enemy or the ally based on their position historical wise. Uh, and it also affects how they are being portrayed in games and shows. And lastly, it is through representation. The Western and American media may include in the Asian representation uh, due to the demographic activism or advocacy. Like, for example, there are some Asian groups that are immigrating or moving to the United States of America, which make the people there more familiar and are able to portray those people in their content. And there are also some activism and advocacy for more Asian representation in the media.
But does this have anything to do with the group of Asians living in America? I feel like they are the ones who are commonly represented in Western media.
Yep, yes, you're right. There the groups of Asians that lives in America have something to do with the representation of Asian culture in the Western media. According to this web search that I just found, there are some of the ways that the groups of Asian living in America influence media representation. First is demographic. The groups living in America are diverse and growing, making up to 6% of the US population in 2020. They are also concentrated in the certain states and cities such as California, New York, and Hawaii, where they have more visibility and influence. These factors may affect the demand and supply of media content that features and appeals to Asian Americans. Another reason is activism, where they are demanding for more Asian representation and rights to be showcased in the media. And they are also support and collaborate with other Asian American artists, creators, and organizations. This action may affect the awareness and appreciation of media content creator and showcases that and empower uh, Asian Americans. There's also the reason where the group of Asians living in America are complex and dynamics, having multiple and hybrid identities that reflect their diverse background, experiences, and cultures. They also have different ways of relating to their ancestral homelands as well as other Asian American groups and communities. This factor may affect the diversity and creativity of media content that expresses and explores Asian Americans' identities.
Wow, the quote makes sense, but what about gangs like Overwatch or criminal case? Overwatch have Singaporean, Thai, Indian, and Nepal characters. Some goes with criminal case where they also showcase character from Indonesian. They are also made by game companies from American, right?
You are right. Overwatch and Criminal Case are games made by American companies that features various Asian countries such as Singapore, Thailand, India, Nepal, and Indonesia. This could be because they want to showcase a more diverse character, or it could be because it suits the current plot. This also because the game might have conducted extensive research and consultation to ensure that their characters are accurate and respectful to the representative culture, to the respective culture.
Right. Now we move that one of the why. We're moving to our last topic, which is about how media exposure affect the culture represents of how the world perceives them based on the
First of all, let us recount how this exposure affects the cultures. We can see left and right the examples of the many Korean food stalls being sold around the street, Indian food being sold in, let's say, Batam, and Japanese ramen is being sold around in malls. But it doesn't stop there. It can also make their cultures and values well known to the general public, making people understand and even appreciate them. It can create or break stereotypes and also empower and challenge the culture represented by providing a platform for expression, communication, and advocacy.
speaking of stereotype, what are other bases that might come with the popularity of a certain culture?
The example for here are one, confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information that confirms what's existing beliefs or expectation about a culture. For example, if one believes that a certain culture is friendly or hospitable, they may only pay attention to that one thing and ignore the negative one. Second is availability heuristic. This is the tendency to judge the frequency and likelihood of something based on how easily it comes to mind. For example, if one exposed to a lot of media content about a certain culture, they may assume that culture is more common and important than uh, it it actually is. And lastly, outgroup homogeneity effect. This is the tendency to perceive members of a different culture as more similar to each other than they really are. For example, if one is not familiar with a certain culture, they may generalize and stereotype that culture based on a few examples or experiences.
I see, but how does Asian characters tropes? Example, Japanese characters are honorable and maybe South Korean characters are business-driven, affect the culture represented.
Asian character tropes uh, can have various effects on the culture that is being represented, depending on the type, quality, and how it is shown in the media of that content. For example, it may cause misrepresentation. Uh, so there are some Asian character tropes that can misrepresent or distort the culture that is being represented by reducing it to a few stereotypes and cliches. They can also erase or ignore the diversity and richness of the culture, such as its history, values, traditions, and diversity. It may even cause discrimination, as Asian character tropes can also discriminate and marginalize the culture represented by portraying it as inferior, exotic, or threatening. They can also reinforce and or justify the prejudice and bias that that the culture faces, like racism, sexism, or xenophobia.
I see. So perhaps it is crucial for its viewers be culturally aware and not just world culture based on what they saw on the media.
Correct. And that is all something we all can do. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support us for more content like this.